जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय 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 जय राम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय 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 जय ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम 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 ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय वाटर वेंडम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम 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 श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Can you hear? Can you hear now? Huh?
Hari Om. You are able to hear? It's on.
Pranam. Yes. What were we discussing yesterday? What were we discussing yesterday?
Chapter 1 to 3.
What is that?
Handing over our lands to the Almighty.
Handing over the reins of the mind to the Almighty. Body is perishable.
Raising our voice to that evening. Comparable to that of Arjuna's statement in the Gita. And second chapter is actually to that of an hour day. Duty. First chapter, Rajiv Raman, which is a comparable to that of our day-to-day activities wherein we are faced, like that of Arjuna being placed in the field. And Krishna is explaining it. Second chapter, nothing. As to the five demons on our day-to-day activities, traveling our own mind with the duty activity and trying to reach the higher state. That's how it is. It is akin that of Arjuna being informed like. Third chapter is regarding karma. Karma is action begets action, reaction. So all the three chapters Swamiji has been filling the mind to one and all.
Yes. So the first, second and third chapter.
Fourth chapter
17th sloka.
Fourth chapter.
17th sloka.
That we had discussed yesterday, no? Are we slipping into intellectual exercise or academic exercise, or are we trying to connect it ourselves with our life? So when we connect it ourselves with our life, what are the points that might help us in tackling various issues in handling various problems. So with that perspective, we will look at the first chapter, second chapter and third chapter. So the first one makes us to realize a person, nobody is exempted from challenges, duties, stressful period in their life. Everybody has to go through. Now the only thing is how to remain
Put the hotspot. Put it hotspot. I think some problem with the connection.
some problem with the net. So we are trying to remind ourselves that Papa gave us this prompting to make an in-depth study of Bhagavad Gita, not for the sake of anything else, but to tune our mind for enabling it to handle various types of problems. Nobody in this world is free from problems. Nobody. In some cases, it becomes very, very stressful. At times, it becomes solvable. So what is it that I can take it so that I will be able to handle everything in a better way? This is the perspective with which we are now looking at Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So first chapter we find the message, it can be so many messages, but one message is that if we are conscious of the constant guide within us, not that our problem is solved, but at least we can place our problem before that power and then become receptive to receive the guidance. So two things are there. Faith in the fact that He is there within us. For reasons unknown to us, and as stated in the Shastras, all of us have to work out our own karmic wrangle, karmic problems. But what is more essential is we should have the faith that God is within us. And then with a receptive mind we try to approach Him so that we will be able to handle everything smoothly. In another words, it has been said to hand over the reins of our mind to Him. We should have faith in Him, no? Then only we can hand over. Eh? So faith in God. Eh?
Swamiji is not in the picture.
Swamiji, here. 1 minute.
Audio loud.
Shreyaja,
Hari Om?
okay.
Yeah, no.
So first chapter, So first chapter gives this. We must have we must have
video is not
Audio
there.
ಕೂಡ interrupt ಇದೆ.
Are you
Video and audio are not.
Sharmaji, Swamiji is speaking, please.
We must have unshakable faith in him. And then, instead of seeking the problems outside, solution outside, we must place it before him. And then be receptive to hear. We pray immediately, we want the result, it may not be there. First chapter, if you go through again and again and again, you will find that what is essentially needed is the faith in God who is within, and also to place every now and then our problems for him for guidance, wherever he makes us to seek guidance. In another word, we have to hand over the reins of the mind to him so that he will guide us properly. Because no life is with roses, Every life, as somebody had pointed out yesterday, a beautiful example. When we take the ECG, it will always be, ups and downs will be there, never a straight line. If our ECG shows that, that is inherent in us. So life is always full of ups and downs. We can take it like that when we look at the ECG, sheet. When the printout comes, we find that though none of us know what does it signify, the doctor says your heart is all right, your heart is not all right, something like that. But the truth is that it is always going up and down, So nobody is free. So such a person, when he realizes this, the life is full of ups and downs, and God, who is the indweller, makes us to do that, based upon our previous Janma. A limited freedom is also given to us to get out of the stressful aspect of this karma, that is to seek guidance from him. So the first and foremost thing is to know that he is within us, and then to seek guidance from him, and to have a receptive mind to listen to him. Is that clear?
Yes, Swamiji.
So that is the first step, number one. Another point in the first chapter is that though we are all subject to these ups and downs, these ups and downs comes because of our sense of individuality, which we cannot avoid. So the sense of individuality should know, just as when we have some bodily problem, we go to the doctor who prescribes certain tests. The pathology, offers us what is our position. Based upon that, prescription is given. Similarly, we should be able to have the proper diagnosis. And here the first chapter gives us the diagnosis that everything stems from attachment to the me and mine. Anything connected to me, anything that I name it as mine, that is the real problem. So we have to handle the vyavahara in such a way that we are free from attachment and then act. So the first chapter, when we analyze, not only that we should have faith in God, we should open up our heart before Him, place everything, have a receptive mind to receive His guidance. And number two, we are diagnosing. If we go to the source of all our problems, then we realize that it stems from the attachment to the me and mine. And the second chapter, the attachment to the me and mine can go only when we try to understand the perishable nature of the sense of individuality, which is caged in the body-mind-intellect complex. Perishability. Yesterday we have been telling that though we have been umpteen number of times hammered that this body is perishable, body is perishable, body is perishable. And we also know from our own life that everybody who was dear and near to us, many of them have quit the scene. We are witnessing the death. But still somehow we feel, I will be exempted. Instead of that, I should also know that a day is not far off when I will have to shed this sense of individuality. Death is inevitable. So knowing about the perishable nature of the body, to some extent, to a very great extent, we will be able to free ourselves from the me and mine thinking. Another point that will reduce the me and mine is, right from morning till evening we have to act, we have to do some action. So let not the action be concentrated on the results of the action. Because we have faith that God has given us this body, He has got His own so many plans through us, so He is providing us everything and we are just doing it. This will also reduce the hold of me and mine. Third thing is, let anything happen, we have been witnessing, everything goes on in spite of everything. So why should we get upset? Why should we be swayed between uncertainties, anxieties? Instead of that, if we can keep up a sense of equanimity, that will relieve us from the hold of me and mine. Because we are trying to accept that everything is happening only by His will. So the me and mine hold will definitely come down. Another point he gives us is, whatever that you do it perfectly, whole-souled. Because when we apply our mind totally focused on that, the me and mine will not be there. Only after that, when somebody congratulates us, we immediately are back to the me and mine. For example, when we are deeply involved in a particular project, in a particular action, we forget that we are doing it, and somebody calls our name, immediately the me and mine comes there on the forefront. Think about it. These are to be drawn from our own experience. These are not theories. So second chapter brings out this aspect also. In order to get focused, in order to bring out the excellence in wherever, in whichever activities he places it. We have to be cautious that we are not carried away by the allurements or attraction of the sense objects. Focused on the ideal. This will help us to reduce the dominance of me and mine. So we would suggest now that why not we approach chapters with this bhavana. We all know the me and mine is our problem. When we were children, we were not having that problem because the me and mine was not there predominant. Our mind has not developed, agreed, but it was not predominant. It will be there only for a few moments, then again I forget about it. But as I grow old, I develop my preferences, priorities, attachments, aversions, rights, wrongs, and then that is the bedrock on which my life is built. And then the problem comes. Please think about it. This is an introverted journey. So every chapter we go with this attitude and trying to find out whether there are any practical clues coming from each chapter. So first chapter gave us a wonderful picture. Second chapter also gave us so many clues. And the third chapter is that none of us can be free from any activities. So if the me and mine has to be reduced, the only way is to convert all our actions to a dedication to God. The sin, not dedication means with the feeling that He has given us the field for action, the equipments to handle, and also the wherewithal. Whatever is needed to do that action. By that we become aware about Him, so that is what is called dedication, karma yoga. We may fail, we may forget, we may not be able to bring in this dimension in everything, but if we are convinced about it, we will try to slowly do that. This way we try to look at each and every chapter, so that every time we will say, oh, third chapter gives me this idea, second chapter gives me this idea, first chapter gives me this idea. Then we are entering into Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, it's a book. Otherwise, it is part of Mahabharata. That's all. When I treat it as a part of Mahabharata, when I treat it as a Shastra, then that means that is separate from me. But whereas with that Shastra, with that portion from Mahabharata, I am trying to see to what extent it enables me to handle things and to lead a peaceful life, serene life, calm life, not big words, simple. I want to lead a peaceful life, a blissful life, a stress-free life. So for that, in what way Bhagavad Gita helps me? Then only the tendency for me to go inward, go through the contents of the Bhagavad Gita will be there. Otherwise, like any other book we may read. You remember In Quest of God, in-depth study, each and every chapter we were trying to put ourselves there. For the time being, remove Papa and In Quest of God book. We are placing ourselves. We are on this life journey. All of us are in quest of this peace. Various experiences are there. How to handle them? If it is sloka in Bhagavad Gita, it is anecdotes in quest of God. That is the only difference. Sharira yatra, that is also a yatra for us. But so far, before that, we were concentrating on Papa's role. What did he do? Okay, that was necessary. But then it has not entered into us. But now every time when we are confronted with various situations, something comes out from the learnings of IQG. Oh, this is how we have to deal with it. This is where we have failed. Like that, we will try to approach Bhagavad Gita and see for ourselves. Every day we try to note down. We read the text, we keep the text away, then enter into the theme of the text, and then go through, integrate it with our life, and see for ourselves to what extent Bhagavad Gita helps me in tackling various situations, which will ultimately give me peace. Ashantasya kutasugam, he will say. If there is no happiness, if there is no shanti, how can you get happiness, fullness? So our whole thing is directed towards shanti, peace. So in this connection, something strikes to us. One line. From Bhagavad Gita and peace eternal. We looked at it, 18 chapters. We will just read it out. Beloved Papa Swami Ramdas, while struggling through an utterly restless and miserable period in his life, was made to think deeply on the futility of the worldly pursuits and the necessity of pursuing the divine path and realizing one's identity with the Supreme Being, which alone can lead one to peace eternal. All masters are, based upon their experience, unanimous in declaring that unless the intellect practices sensory discipline and yoked to the subtle and mysterious power of the Atman through meditative approach, there cannot be peace, and without peace there cannot be happiness. Discipline, yoked to, riveted to God thought, and then meditative, reflective approach, not superficial. Swami Raghunathananji says, when the mind is constantly in a disturbed condition, how can there be happiness? Happiness is a wonderful state. You are serene, you are calm, you are fulfilled, then only happiness comes. Therefore, if happiness is the objective, you have to handle this mind. You have to handle the sensory system, which is below the mind. Then a disciplined inner life sets in. With this perspective, as prompted by him, a chapter by chapter study of the Gita was undertaken and following points emerged. First chapter, any conflict in action which denies the presence of peace stems only from the feeling of me and mine. Number 2 chapter, to get over the above conflict, one has to operate from a mental state of equanimity along with the deep contemplation on the transient nature of the me and mine, encased in the body. Here comes the relevance of values, control of senses, not expecting the fruits of action, excellence in all action and dedication to Him, and the like. Then emerges the peace from within. Number 3, nobody is free from action. To convert all actions on the above lines is to dedicate all actions to Him. This will ultimately ensure peace. Because the me and mine is not there. We are prompted to do, we act. Number 4, however, by only erasing the sense of doership behind all thoughts, words and deeds, peace can be felt. Number 5, a doubt might arise. Instead of going through the above process, why not relinquish the conflict-ridden action itself by moving away from the common field of action, which is normally understood as sannyas? This is not possible for all, because even if the external field is renounced, the mind with all its pulls and pushes remains the same. Only a few can come out of this hurdle. So the answer for the ordinary person, change of attitude on the lines of Karma Yoga in all action helps to experience peace. Number 6, needless to mention, self-control, sense control, one-pointedness, moderation, sense of equanimity, followed by practice and dispassion, help in actualizing Karma Yoga, thereby leading to peace. Sense control, one-pointedness, moderation, sense of equanimity, followed by practice and dispassion, help in actualizing Karma Yoga, thereby leading to peace. So every chapter is leading to peace, peace, peace. Number 7, 7th chapter, probing into the God dimension, the source of all creations, including the delusion. Devi Hyesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratya Mameve Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So the delusion, even that is also given by him. So the probing into the God dimension, the source of all creations, including the delusion, offer clarity on the God dimension. Bhakti, that is devotion to God, as expressed through 4 types of devotees, is an easily relatable method to realize the God dimension, of which the last one, Jnani Bhakta, is the safest passport for ultimate peace. Artha, Artharthi, Jijnasu, Jnani. Then, 8th chapter. God, the power behind everything, is eternal. At the same time, our sense of individuality, that is the body, mind, intellect complex, and all forms of creations are transient. If we are not alert to this fact, we will associate ourselves with the mortal identity of ourselves and the world. Only constant remembrance of this truth, eternal nature of the power, and the ephemerality of this creation, it can ensure peace. As we enter into the hall, we look at the flowers in the garden. They are wonderful, nice to see. But we hardly recognize that after 2 days it will fade away. It's a great reminder. Through flower garden, God is teaching us how much pain it took to bring out that flower, drawing it, the needed ingredients from various things. But how many days, we don't know. Only botanical science can give us that answer. Anyhow, we know that one fine morning it doesn't come. First in the form of a bud from the stem, and then slowly maturing and finally blossoming. So many days, and for that it draws the needed energy from so many sources, and then the blossoms out. We look at it, we don't look at the previous struggle of the tree. And at the same time, after a few days, the flower fades, drops down. The flower plant does not stop. The flower plant does not cry. The flower plant does not look dejected or dispirited. Again, the same thing is being done. After a few days, again the bud comes. Again the blossoms come. And then again the fading. You just see that? So this is the stage we have to reach. That is what is the constant remembrance of this truth, the eternal nature of the power, ephemerality of the creation can ensure peace. Number 9, absolute surrender to the supreme power is the royal path in spirituality. Handing over of doership, enjoyership, sufferership, ownership to the indwelling and all-pervading reality is the express way to peace. Rajavidya, Rajayoga. Absolute surrender to the supreme power is the royal path in spirituality. Handing over the doership, the enjoyership, the sufferership, the ownership to the indwelling and all-pervading reality is the express way to peace. Out of 500 transactions we do, we can try in one, Any of these, sense of agency, sense of ownership, sense of enjoyership, sense of sufferership. So this is what the 9th chapter says. 10th chapter, becoming aware of the grandeur of the reality is an aid in the spiritual journey. The vast creation is like God's book. Everywhere in the book, the name of the Lord is written in beautiful letters. When we start seeing Him in His grand manifestation, automatically peace sets in. We go for a drive or we travel, we see the beautiful landscapes. What is happening in us, If it's our own vehicle, we stop, take a photograph. Why are we taking photographs? Think about it. A waterfall, so many things, so many times you would have seen, but still we stop and look at it. A mountain, valleys.
We record it for future.
Why should you record? Because it touches and kindles something in you, A pleasant feeling develops, which is called serenity, peace. If we closely associate, then we will know that. Again, you look at the photo, you are transported back to the days when you went there. And that has given you a pleasant feeling. which is called peace. So 10th chapter gives this. 11. By dwelling on his all-inclusive form through relating everything, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, positive, negative, constructive, destructive, all pairs of opposite to him, one becomes free from agitations, thereby resulting in experiencing peace. Anything that is created is subject to wear and tear. The food that we relished yesterday comes out not in that form. Every day God is reminding us this. While eating, while taking that, what was our mental? Beautiful, marvelous, tasty, superb. So many adjectives we use to express our joy. Next day when we go to the toilet, nothing has come from outside. The same thing goes out. What is our attitude towards it? God is teaching us. You don't have to look at anything else. So anything that means the anything that is not peace does not give us the sustaining feeling of joy. So by dwelling on his all-inclusive form through relating everything, we don't accuse the stomach. In fact, we become upset if it doesn't go out. We say constipation, I did not have bowel movement, you are restless. Because we accept that it should go. Think about it, deeply think about it. That is why he says in 11, by dwelling on all his in all-inclusive form, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, positive, negative, constructive, destructive. If we relate everything to him, one becomes free from agitation. To him means that is the nature. Thereby resulting in experiencing peace. Number 12. Having understood him as everything and every being, one cannot but interact with love and compassion to all. And this leads in turn to peace within and peace without. Just like Mataji used to remind us, this is also Papa, this is also Papa, this is also Papa. When you are criticizing anybody, you are criticizing Papa. When you are belittling anybody, you are belittling Papa. Like that, when we do that, that means our love and compassion, the love circle keeps on expanding. That is the way to peace. Chapter number 13. Studying the inseparable relationship between the sense of individuality and the reality within, and reiterating the transient nature of body, mind, intellect, and the immutable nature of reality strengthens the eternal values, all of which help in unearthing the latent peace. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, nityamatma vinigraham, indriyarteshu vairagyam, anahankaram, yavaja, janma mrityu jaravyadi dukkadosha anudarshanam, asaktir anavishwanga, putradara griha adishu, nityam cha samachittatvam, ishtanishtopapatishu. Like that, there are so many values. If we closely analyze, it becomes clear. Studying the inseparable relationship between the sense of individuality and the reality, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and reiterating the transient nature of the body, mind, intellect, and the immutable nature of reality strengthens the eternal values, all of which help in unearthing the latent peace. That is what 13th chapter does. Then we move to 14th, deeply contemplating on the genesis of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which is responsible for the nature of the sense of individuality and feeling of separatedness from others, reduces the stress caused by events and individuals. Peace can be had only by knowing that he, the core of our being, is separate from the gunas. Guna guneshu vartante. All these words, unless we go deep down, we may not be able to catch the word peace. Gunas are so mixed in us, we are unable to separate it, from that reality. So a constant effort is to be made to separate the gunas that will ultimately lead us to peace eternal. 15th chapter, deep penetration into the three phases of manifestation, namely creation, its cause, the supreme power, who is the substratum of both, alone can reveal that everything happens only by the will of that supreme power. Once again we will say, deep penetration into the three phases of the manifestation. Outwardly, if we look and pass a conjunction, no, deep penetration. Namely, creation, its cause, the supreme power who is the substratum for both, that alone can reveal that everything happens only by the will of the supreme power. This knowledge ensures peace in the manifest, unmanifest, and beyond both. When we sit in this hall, when we try to go in this hall, as soon as we enter, we may have different types of emotions in our mind. There are many quotations. Some we may understand, some we may not understand, some we may think it is a tall order, some it may not be practical according to us now. So there are various types of emotions welling up in our heart. And luckily there is no photo or image here. If that is also there, that will also touch and kindle. But this, suppose we go to the origin of this hall. It was a spotless, nameless, formless space in which the construction has been made, and then we say the hall is okay, spacious, not spacious, it could have been this way, that way, the posters are okay, not okay, exhibits are okay, not okay. All these are there because the hall has been constructed, and before the hall there was nameless, formless space. So if we try to understand both this manifestation and the unmanifested, that will lead to the peace, because it originated from the nameless, formless. We have added something to it. It cannot affect us. If at all it has affected, it is only because we have contributed. By its origin, it was it is free, it is always stress-free, serene, calm. What is the nature of the source? The space? Calm, peaceful. Kindly think about it. Then 16, there is always a tussle between upward and downward pulling nature in our mind. To maintain equanimity and peace at all times is to practice personal, social, spiritual values. So the purpose is Abhayam Sattvam Shuddhi. When we read that, it is not for anything else. To strengthen us, to give us the needed, anchor, ANCHOR, to protect us from the downpulling forces and to encourage us in the elevating fields. We need that values. Think about it. 26 values have been beautifully brought out. Abhayam Sattvam Shuddhi, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha, Swadhyayasthava Arjavam, Ahimsa, Satyam Akrodham, Tyaga Shantir Apaishunam, Dayabodesha Loluptam, Mardavam Hri Achapalam, Teja Kshama Dhridi Shaujam, Adroho Natimanita. It is not for learning by heart to reproduce that those things have been given. It is to protect us from the downpulling forces, to encourage us in moving towards Him. So then from there we move to 17. None can live independently. So faithfully responding to Mother Nature, society and sense of individuality as a payback through yajna, dana and tapas is to be developed. Peace becomes everlasting when our environment is also peaceful. Peace becomes everlasting when our environment is also peaceful. So that is why to keep the environment peaceful, we have to pay back to the Mother Nature what we have taken. We have to give back to the society what we have taken. We have to give back to the body, mind, intellect complex what we have taken from them. Yajna, dana, tapas. Then peace becomes everlasting when our environment becomes peaceful. And finally, the 18th, to have the final liberation, that is, realizing the ever-dwelling peace, the development of total surrender of the sense of individuality is needed for this elaborate study of the gunas, respect for the division of labor that ensures the healthy existence of the society, finally the recognition that all of our life is a pre-scripted play of the divine is necessary. In other words, one should become zero. Let there be the Lord and Lord alone in the universe who is peace eternal. God is peace eternal. It is not that we are trying to acquire something. Peace is God, no? There's a beautiful quotation of Papa about peace. Unfortunately, that board has been removed. Here Papa emphatically says, peace and joy being your inherent possession, why go out of yourself in pursuit of the sum? Peace and joy being your inherent possession, why go out of yourself in pursuit of them? Being the light yourself, why do you grope in darkness longing for an outer changing ray? Why deny your own everlasting radiance? Know that you are the soul of the very universe, the eternal light, eternal peace, eternal joy. Realize your light, illuminate all. Realize your peace, shower tranquility on all. Say, I am the all blissful spirit, shed your joy on all. Assert your divine nature and liberate thousands and millions from the fetters of bondage. Be God, lead others to God. A very inspiring quotation when you are talking about peace. Peace and joy being your inherent possession, why go out of yourself in pursuit of them? Being the light yourself. This is possible only we go through the meditative, reflective method, It can't come out from anything outside. Peace and joy being your inherent possession, why go out of yourself in pursuit of them? Being the light yourself, why do you grope in darkness longing for an outer changing ray? Why deny your own everlasting radiance? Know that you are the soul of the very universe, the eternal light, the eternal peace, the eternal joy. Realize your light, illuminate all. Realize your peace, shower tranquility on all. Say, I am the all blissful spirit, shed your joy on all. Assert your divine nature and liberate thousands and millions from the fetters of bondage. Be God, lead others to God. Realize that you are peace, enable others to realize the peace. So this is how we look at it. This is one type of perspective. How to find the peace eternal in the 18 chapters. Because peace is inherent in us. Every one of us, though we may not know that peace is God, we will all say peace of mind is needed. Anyone who is having peace of mind, when we interact with him, it touches and kindles something in us that is called peace, joy. That is why we go to Mahatmas, because they are reveling in their bliss. The very look at them touches and kindles in us. With this perspective, no doubt. Otherwise, no. So, according to us now, peace is something which all of us need. And through 18 chapters, the Lord gives us how to realize the peace within. Starting from first chapter to 18 chapters. So that we are concentrating on that, We don't dissipate our energy on anything else. Because we have had a bird's eye view of the entire 700 slokas. Something remains in our mind. We are trying to connect this with our daily life. An easy way to connect is to first understand that we are in search of peace, serenity, calmness. Just like In Quest of God ends with serenity, That is why it's called from stress to serenity. Peace, that calmness, every one of us wants. Now we realize through 18 chapters, clues are given to become aware of the peace within. Only by dwelling on it intensely, we will be able to at least peep into the storehouse of peace within us. Again, the mind will pull us back. But 18 through 18 chapters, when we approach it, probably it might help us to just enter the door. And if we are steadfast and if God's grace is there, by the time we reach 18, we become fully aware of the peace within. Kindly think about it. This is also another food for thought for all of us. How do we approach Gita? It can be approached in so many ways. For the past 2-3 months, that's what we have found. Anything you bring, you find a place in Gita. That which is directly related to us, whether it is peace, whether it is joy, whether it is equanimity, whether it is excellence. Everything is there. These are all the synonyms of the same thing. So let us not slip into getting stuck to any of the rooms. We go to one room, come out, second room, come out, third room, come out, and 18 rooms, and then finally we start. Just like the cows masticate, we try to go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and then see the common thing in all, and again enter into the room. With that perspective, you will be able to get more and more clarity, more and more. It becomes conspicuous to us. With this bhavana, when you enter into the 18 rooms, peace becomes conspicuous. Like that, any word that strikes to you, anyone, God will give you some word. With that, we try to go to each and every chapter. We should not get stuck with anybody's, because we should get the inner fulfillment, inner joy, inner peace through our own method. So what do we prioritize? It depends upon that. Just like what we read now on peace. Suppose we prioritize peace, and with that attitude we enter into each and every room and come out, and then look at it, and then again go, see. With that perspective, everything becomes very clear to us. Is the approach clear?
Yes, quite clear, quite clear.
Please make an attempt.
Emphatic mind is great. Everybody must understand.
So each one should approach Gita in their own way.
Practicing is very difficult.
Hearing is easy. Naturally, go back to our own life. We did practice, Everything that we have learned today now, it is because of perseverant, patient, repeated activities. So it cannot be different for this also. So if we are lacking in identifying, then it is because of lack of practice, no doubt.
Put it into practice,
So we will try. Let us not lose heart. Let us not put a label that it is difficult. Everything is possible because He is facilitating us to go through it, to bring out this. So will He not help us in moving towards the direction? He will. Having 100% trust in Him, we try to go through this exercise. Let us see what He keeps in store for us tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram 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 Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam. Pranam, pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.